Welcome back, guys, to another amazing episode of Flag Your Week with Rena. My name is Rena, your main anchor, and joining me today are my two amazing co-anchors, Samuel and Faith. How are you guys?
We're doing fine.
Today's episode is an amazing episode because it affects every young Nigerian, especially women. We're talking about grooming. What is grooming? To my own understanding, grooming is when an older person tries to use age, tries to use wisdom to, most times they get gains from someone younger, and most times it's usually sexual favors.
Let's say like they're trying to manipulate.
So let's actually dive into, because grooming is such a big topic and so many people don't even understand, especially in Nigeria where we don't really exactly have laws protecting children.
Yeah.
Let's go
lame.
Samuel, what do you understand by grooming?
You have already given us the perfect definition of grooming, like you have said it before. But I just want to point out that when when someone is being groomed, let me put it like that, it doesn't actually affect only the well-being of the person, but it affects the person like mentally. It affects the person in different ways. You know, when especially a young person gets in, let me just put the word molested or something like that, it will not affect the person with the way of thinking or anything. It will just affect the person mentally. That if he sees anyone coming, like an adult coming towards him or towards her, the person will just be scared or something like that. So I guess that's my own understanding from the word grooming.
The thing about grooming is it affects underage people and also people that are not underage, but at the same time aren't exactly what we call adults.
Not mature.
It's usually between the ages of like 15 to 20 or 22.
Okay.
When you're literally still
I think it
figuring
affects
out life.
younger people.
And you begin to, like, asking this question now, like, Faith, this topic of conversation happens at least twice a year, every day on Twitter. Or people asking, why do we have 30-year-old men, 40-year-old men going after younger women? Not just like, and you see a specific type of man. The first girlfriend is 19 years old. Second girlfriend, 18 years old. That is the pattern. And just because those people are legally, doesn't mean what you're doing is right at the same time. Because, so the thing I'm going to ask you now is, these people, how do we now target them? How do we actually talk to them? Because we can say, oh, grooming is bad, but how do we now tell young women that, oh, this is from things like this? Because the mindset of a young girl is the older the better.
Can I speak?
Okay.
Maybe I can say, maybe if you educate them more on what they call grooming.
So let's look at this from another perspective. Let's say grooming is when older people are so much involved with younger people. Let's say people less than 18 or so. Sometimes it could be that these older people are threatening these younger people. Sometimes it's not like these younger people say an age is just a number, let's leave. Sometimes it might be like, for instance, let's take a 30-year-old man trying to woo a girl who is under 10. You come and tell her, don't tell anybody, I just did mommy and daddy's play.
But we need to understand that there is a difference between grooming and pedophilia.
I get it.
That is a pedophilia. Someone going over age. Grooming is different. Now, a 30-year-old man or a 30-something-year-old man coming to meet a girl fresh out of uni, an 18-year-old girl, a 19-year-old girl, she doesn't have a job. So, obviously, financial issues in a relationship is one of the major issues.
Right.
When you cannot meet this man financially, first of all, what is an 18-year-old girl and almost a 40-year-old man? What exactly are they discussing? What do you find attractive in an 18-year-old girl? Most of these men that do these grooming things, it's not just even men. In Nigeria that we live in now, we have so many men that say their first sexual experience was with an older woman, like as per an auntie kind of older, not even older. This is wrong. Grooming somebody is, you tell somebody, oh, I've been with somebody since I was 15 years old. You were 15 with a 20-something-year-old man. And the most issues with grooming is not just a short span relationship. It's usually a long time relationship. Most times they find it hard to leave this kind of relationship because leave to start what? It's probably their first relationship, first everything with that person. That is what grooming is. You have groomed that person's like mentality for that person to do what you want that person to do.
Like you
literally, I watched a TikTok video of this girl that was saying, "Oh, her husband, like she literally is a robot. She has rules and regulation put in place by her husband." And most times, the reason why grooming is allowed to even thrive is because the person has power over the other person. It's not a normal relationship where both of you are both bringing something to the table.
Okay, sorry, before we go further, I want to get it clear that we've established that pedophiles are different from grooming.
Yes.
So grooming is putting all this mental thinking in somebody's head that you can't do without me. It has to be me. I'll help you financially and do so. Pedophile is different from
definitely,
that.
and I feel like we've finally understand what grooming is. We need to now understand how do you recognize a grooming relationship or how do you recognize a groomer. So that's definitely your question, because how do we tell our audience, if you notice this is probably someone that is grooming you, or this is how you recognize a grooming relationship.
Okay, when we say, you said something, you said people will say, I'm a woman, I'm 19 or I'm more than 18, I can make decisions for myself. Age is just a number. Age is just a number. You can date whoever you want to date. But when you now say you're 19, you're 18, and then a 40-year-old man is coming, you love him, you can date who you want to date, but he's not coming to act like this dominant kind of person. But see, this is how we would do, like when we were saying you in a relationship that like a robot, and the husband gave her a set rules and stuff. So the person is beginning to act like that to you. You should start with, okay, these are signs that this person is trying to instill just one particular mentality in my head. Like I say, this is how you should live your life. This is how you should do this. These are part of the signs you should look out for. Definitely. And then, okay, so if you're not a controlling person,
and there's so many things to discuss shortly after the break.
What are we doing, my dear, my dear? I surrender you myself, myself. My hands are in the air. Only time will tell the difference clear. What is the reason you do not have your own peace of mind? Are you having fun or are you doing this thing to survive? Are you taking the pictures of every memories of your life? What's the reason why we're still out here?
Welcome back, guys, and we're still on today's topic, which is grooming and how it affects young Nigerians. So you guys, we've discussed grooming, the meaning of grooming, how grooming is disgusting. Now let's talk about the effects of grooming, because these women and these men that enter this relationship that we call grooming, how does it affect them?
Okay. From my own perspective, I can say one of the effects is that it might end up, the relationship might be abusive. It might end up being abusive, like maybe the girl being molested by the guy, the girl getting beaten by the guy.
When she doesn't follow his rules,
I know she will be locked up, so like she has to obey everything he says. And there are some men that if you don't do according to what they say, they will just get upset.
How old are their age mates? Why are they going after her weight? They want
to have control over a person, so they like go for younger people so that they can have like what they want. And the second one is that we know the victims also might lose contact or might be kept away from their family and friends.
Definitely, because someone that wants control doesn't want other people to have access to
and hamper with whatever mindset he's putting in you. Another thing can make the victim lose trust in people. can say, okay, you can lose trust even in adults, in older people of that age, that's how they do stuff like that. And it can affect the person in other relationships. Like, after having that kind of relationship, the person won't have any normal relationship with other
You
people.
won't want to
Just
trust
imagine-
any
You
other
wouldn't want to
person.
trust any other person, whether your age
18
bracket
to
or
20
not.
something, you've been following 40 something. It's going to be very hard to navigate your age.
Your age
Back-
bracket.
Because
yes.
mentality will even be different because
Yes, your
their own
mentality is
age,
definitely different.
their own way of understanding of relationships will be different from our own age.
yes.
Because we will have a greater, will I say, opportunity of knowing more about relationships because of the internet and everything. We see how relationships are going.
Definitely.
And we say,
That's
okay,
like
this is the way
almost
it's
like
going,
how
this-
many decades
But you
between
know,
you people.
you dating a person who is 45 or 50. When he was born, there was no phone. So like the only relationship he was seeing was his dad and his mom.
Yes.
And maybe
that's
he
where they
grew
will
up
handle
he
you.
grew up seeing his mom getting molested by the dad or getting beaten up by the dad. So that's the mentality we pick up. Okay, let me marry this person. Now I know that if this person does this to me, I can immediately react by beating up the person or doing that. Okay, that is why maybe you see most people going for underage people. People
Somebody
who
that
like,
can easily control
Yeah.
them. Not follow
Definitely,
somebody
these
who will have
people
mouth for me.
Definitely want control over. Yeah, I won't even use because I'm tempted to use the word victims.
they are
because-
victims.
Over
Because
whoever
over
they want to
time,
date.
because over time, once you do this kind of relationship, you begin to ask yourself, what exactly have I put into? Like, you will find it hard to even have meaningful relationships with people definitely your age. Because you can imagine after dating probably over many years, like, don't know what LOL means or laugh my ass out. He literally explained everything. Like, honestly, you won't have PTSD from that relationship.
I'm serious.
So definitely, there's grooming all around. Like, definitely.
Not only Nigeria,
Everywhere,
like, let's say
it's
the world.
everywhere, but our content is definitely
In our
Nigeria.
world.
Nigeria. So we need to be deliberate. Know who comes around you. Know who you allow in your cycle. Look out for these signs of somebody who's, if the person might start off by being your friend and is trying to be controlling, then the next thing wants a relationship with you. Watch out for all these signs of a groomer.
Definitely.
You see someone like that, someone who is trying to make you into his victim, they flag it up to report.
Yeah, we have to flag it
Yeah,
up also.
report to the flag it up, flag it, say the person, and then you see even if it's not to you, to somebody, maybe you're talking to the person, she say, oh, leave me alone, Joe, it's my life. Help that person and flag it. She gets, because you are saving a life. Yes, you're saving a life and flag it. Okay. And if you see any form of corruption around you, we have a program on summer corruption. It's a corruption watch program on Traffic Radio, FRC Traffic Radio. We listen to it every Friday.
Yes, and we also have a link to our podcast.
Yes, on podcast on Spotify. You can listen to it from 9:30 or 10
Definitely, and where we tackle
Fridays.
issues affecting corruption in Nigeria and how to tackle corruption in
Summer
Nigeria.
corruption.
Summer corruption. And there's so many things to discuss, which we'll do shortly after the break. Welcome back, guys, and we're still on today's topic, which is grooming and its effect on young Nigerians. And we're back to my favorite segment of all, which is Flag Your Week, you guys. I say it every week and I'll keep saying it. This is
Well,
my
every week I have to
favorite.
correct you to always
flag.
say our favorite.
No,
Not yours. You can't do that.
It's my
and you
favorite
guys, I want to
segment,
flag
of your
because
own.
Okay.
we're talking about a grooming topic. I just want to talk about a tweet I came across. So this woman was literally ranting, and she's like, she doesn't know what to do if she should divorce her husband at this point. So she and her husband have been married for years. They have 5 kids, and
What? 4 years, 5 kids.
they've been married for years.
Oh, I thought I had 4 years, 5
No,
kids.
this
Ah,
one. No, this women, this couple, they are not young because their oldest daughter is 16.
Okay.
So they're not a young couple. So it's their 16-year-old daughter's birthday. So she went to do a pool party. So based on what she told her parents, she was like, everybody should wear white and she wear red bikini. So she invited everybody over. So it was just like 16-year-olds and family and friends that came over for her birthday. So she's like, in the house, when she was like trying to, like, you know how a party is now, the way the house is always messy. So she's like, she overhears her husband's best friend talking about their daughter on the phone. So I was saying, I wish she was 18. She looks the sexiest in her bikini. And apparently she's like, the minute she hears that, she goes batshit, like she goes crazy, and she calls her husband, and she goes and enters the room of her husband's friend, and she starts like, she starts throwing a scene, because obviously she's like, what do you mean by, and then the man is like obviously trying to defend himself, so it becomes like a shouting match. So the husband is like, you know what, it tells the friend, you know, just go, I'll handle it. So the husband is like, okay, so what's happening? Because he didn't even understand what was happening. So she explained what she saw, and he's like, they'll discuss it after the party. She didn't say anything. After the party, they even got into an argument.
With the husband?
Yes. Then I'm just trying to remember. This story is so messy. The friend's girlfriend walks up to the wife and was like, and what happened? Where's my boyfriend? He has left the party, and he sent, like, the message he sent is calling his best friend's wife a insulting the daughter, calling her all these things. She shows the husband a message of what his best friend is saying. Now, after because after the party they fought and he left the house. So when he comes back, she asks him, have you had a conversation with your best friend? And he says, yes. He said he wasn't referring to our daughter. So that's the end of it. Now she's asking, even if it's not our daughter, he was still talking about a 16-year-old.
That's what I'm saying.
And which 16-year-old was wearing a red bikini? That man knows what his friend is doing. It's even disgusting to
your own daughter.
It is even disgusting to know that he's probably even doing the same thing, because how are you not upset with the fact that this is your daughter? This is not like I see it's someone else's, this is your daughter. We need to start asking, do parents actually play a role in grooming? Because we live in Nigeria where parents are even pushing you to marry way older men for financial reasons.
Like in some cultures you hear, okay, this person
in some cultures they will tell you in this thing
that
before 21, sharp, you're meant to be married. But you're not getting married to men that are in your age bracket. It is way older men. So like I'm beginning to ask, like, are parents even pushing this narrative? Especially in Nigeria here.
I can't even imagine what that would be.
Our parents protect,
and for her husband not to even back her up.
Like she didn't have any backup from the person she married, so that means she's even wasting her time.
Now she's asking,
but she can still flag it.
She'll start asking. No,
this in Nigeria.
Okay,
she's not even in Nigeria. They're definitely in the US, but like these are things that are happening in Nigeria. These are things that are happening in Nigeria. You see the situation of Nigerian people in the comments were saying, Nigerian women saying, I was abused by my uncle at this. My parents knew. They know, they are trying to cover it up because we live in a country where your family shame is more important than getting justice for your underage children. That's just how we see it. That's the topic.
I think children need to get wise. Children need to be educated. If your parents won't help you, take laws into your hands and flag it.
I don't think that is as easy to say because they are still children.
I know.
That's the job of the adults and for the parents to take care of you, because there's only so much you can do. You can tell a child this and this, but when you have your family member as a person doing this, what really can you do? So we need to do better, definitely. As parents, as individuals, if you know all these things, please flag it. And I want to thank you guys for joining us on today's segment of Flag Your Week. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Rana.
I go by the name Samuel.
John Samuel.
And I'm Faith. Happy to have you guys on
Thank you guys for joining us.